Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the daily update of my 1000 days challenge. This is day 43. So if you actually noticed that I've added something new over here. So I decided that because I've always mentioned that the title is always to start with $10,000. So you'll see over here as to my current progress itself, it's not, I'm not say it's fantastic, ahead of time or something like that, but basically over the past 43 over days, this is the current profit. So actually I have two trading portfolio. One which is my main trading portfolio, which is in positive 700, and the other one which is my experimental portfolio, which is down 164 as of today. So over time I will come to show you. So basically the 700 is where I've been doing the trading on the 4-hourly time frame, whereas on the 164 that is actually done on the 1 hour or even shorter time frame. So I mentioned before that on shorter time frame you do definitely have to take higher risk, and because over time you take more trades over a shorter period of time, the drawdown and also some of the mistakes I make using the 1 hourly chart or even 5-minute chart are actually much higher due to slippages and stuff like that. So these are things that I learned in trying to fine tune it over time. So I will also incorporate these losses into this $10,000 budget that I have for my trading account as well. So yeah, other than that, let's get things back right on track. Onto the daily update itself, I've seen that I've updated the daily chart and a daily market structure and also the weekly market structure. All right, just give me a minute. Let me move the microphone a bit nearer so the voice will be, or the sound will be a lot better, I guess. All right, so as you can see, the weekly chart actually still remains bullish for all of them. So over here, let's switch back to the weekly chart for the S&P 500. All right, so the S&P 500, if you're looking in terms of the line chart, no major difference. Even though it retraces quite a substantial bit, you can see over here, you could retrace, touch a support and then bounce upwards. So obviously, I wanted to retest this 50 simple moving average on the weekly chart. But well, is it going to hit there likely immediately or in the next foreseeable 1 to 2 weeks? That is very hard for me to say. But either way, there'll be a point of interest that I'll be interested, a zone of interest that I'll be interested to buy in for long-term investment. That's for S&P 500. Similarly, for Nasdaq, you will see that the overall bullish market structure remains intact. So there's not so much of a fear that the market just going to crash because of this kind of retracement. It's more some sort of like a healthy profit market taking that people do take profit from as well. And yeah, even for ASHR, same thing. It could be a retracement to even over here, and you could still form a higher low if it bounces from there. So nothing to be of too major concern. Except for KWEB, you do see that because there's already retracement, if it does fall below here, you do see a potential that there's a low and a lower low. So potentially you could form a bearish market structure much earlier. Yep. And KWEB and Nasdaq, which are both the tech stocks, because of a much larger rise. So tentatively, they could very much transit to a bearish market structure in the short term, but still continue back to the bullish market structure shortly as well. Yeah, and in my opinion, that would still be considered a healthy correction in the sense that because you do look at the overview, big picture that they have climbed up substantially enough. So for people to sell off a little bit to take profit may result in forming the bearish market structure in the short term. All right, so that's for the weekly analysis. And moving on to the daily analysis, you will see that price is somewhat consolidating between these below the 20 exponential moving average and above the 50 simple moving average for the S&P 500. So I do lean towards potential downside momentum unless strong breaks out above here. Because generally when the support is tested, for it to be a strong support, generally you see over here, they don't spend so much time at the support level. So once it touches it, buyers will come in back again and quickly they will push the price back up because they see that as a good sales and opportunity. On the other hand, if price tends to stay there, then yeah, it's showing that there's a lack of interest or lack of buyers rushing in per se. That's from what I understand, from what I see or what I understand. Right, and for Nasdaq, you do see that there's a smaller or a potential weakness as well as it breaks below the 50 simple moving average on the daily chart. So potentially if it retraces over here, that would be a great point for us to add. And even over here to this 10,000 mark, which is where it makes the all-time high from here to here, which is like almost a 20% rise from the previous peak itself, which just happened like earlier this year in February. So even if you bought in the worst possible time in February, you will have still made up to a potential 20% profit if you were to sell at the top or near the top per se. And if you will sell here, you still have a good 10% profit per se. Yep. Anyway, so I'm still waiting for potential retracement over here, and over here there will be a great position for adding long-term wise. And then moving on to ASHR, you can see that it has first formed a break below the 50 simple moving average, and seems like the 50 simple moving average is acting as resistance now. Take a look at the price action. Yep, it isn't even touched over there. So hopefully I do see reaching over here the $33 mark, or even here the $30 mark. That is where I'll be looking to add more position if they ever fall to such a region and potential support is being formed. Like it forms here, it breaks, and then it forms a bullish market structure back again. All right, for KWEB, similarly, like the ASHR, they broke below the 50 simple moving average. He has found the resistance over there, and it seems to be trending downwards. But obviously, you can also see this, the red dotted line, which is actually what I demark as a monthly horizontal resistance. So clearly, this is a resistance area that is forming as a support as well. Yeah, there is a support as well. So potentially, it could be consolidating here. But if a clean break below, I do expect movement to move down swiftly downwards as well, because that is how they actually climb for KWEB. So you can see they tend to have gaps. So you can have a small little gap here and then gap down again. So yep, so that's the tendency for KWEB. All right, and for Bitcoin wise, all right, I wouldn't have the weekly analysis simply because Bitcoin is still trading right now. There's still Saturday and Sunday. On the daily chart, what I do see over here is a high, and a higher high, and a low, and a lower low. So I do mention over here in terms of the market structure over here, is that it's neutral. And yeah, it's a transition to neutral over here. So that's something to bear in mind. However, on the 4-hourly chart, what I do see is that it has finally breached over the 50 simple moving average, and it's also above the 20 exponential moving average. So this does show signs that the price is actually picking up, which is good for the bullish momentum per se. But what I've drawn over here is not a trade setup that I would take, but what I'm trying to show that this is a trade setup that I choose not to take instead. Because even though it could potentially be showing signs of consolidation over here, and it could break up over here, but I do see near resistance could be coming in over here, giving me a very poor risk to reward 1:1, 1:1 kind of setup. And that's something that I'm not interested to take, especially when it's against the trend on the 4-hourly chart, which is below the 200 simple moving average. So generally, I would prefer to align. As you can see in terms of the results of my portfolio, generally for the losses I may tend to be from the shorter time frame or trying to be more aggressive. That is where my experimental setup occurs. On the other hand, for the profit for my main trading portfolio, that is where I wouldn't say generally, I only trade trend, I only trade position or trade setup that is with the trend direction on the 4-hourly chart per se. So this is not something that I'm willing to take. I do look for potential short setup if and only if prices fall below the 50 simple moving average, and then potentially consolidate near here, which is the 9.9K to 10.1K. That's what I mentioned over here. Just press over here. If you want to do a pause, you can pause and read over the guideline or the setup that I'm looking to wait for. Basically consolidation near the 9.9 to 10.1K with the same short setup, but the main benefit of that is that if it does consolidate over here, instead of having a wider stop loss, I would be able to potentially reduce the stop loss and have a much better risk to reward. So even though I'm risking the same 1R, I could be getting much better rewards when it reaches the same target. So that is something to bear in mind, that it's not just your entry, not just your exit, but also where your stop loss is that determines ultimately how much are you going to profit from the particular trade. Yep. So otherwise, that's more or less about it. And I'll keep you guys updated in terms of the daily balance. You won't see much fluctuation from here and there because at the moment, I'm not taking any new trade setup. If I do take any new trade setup right now, then I'll keep you updated. So generally, I do lean towards a short per se, but that is based on another trade formation. There is not so much in terms of price action. So I'll be sharing more with you about the other trade setup that I do tend to take and stuff like that. So yep, otherwise, hope you guys have a great day and great weekend ahead, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.